Hi everyone, welcome back to Eleanor's restoration. Still on the boot floor. So it's been my birthday and my lovely wife asked, do you want me to get you a surprise or do you want to pick what you want? So here we go, I picked what I wanted. As you can see, it'll help me with all the plans I've got next with Eleanor, with Ed and also the Morris Minor. Because I've got lots of plans coming for the better weather. So another angle grinder because I want one for cutting, one for grinding, etc. It just saves changing discs between. All the stuff to clean, degrease the engine, more clamps, Gleco clamps because I've got the other ones, I've just not got the crocodile style ones. Various bits and pieces. And also the restoration book for the Morris Minor. So where we are, still on the boot floor like I said, and it's a lengthy process. What I'm doing with this bit is I'm not going to cover every little detail because a lot of it's the same process, and as I've said a million times, I want to keep these videos as interesting as I can. So what I'm going to just do with this one is I'm going to dip in and out as I'm removing parts of the boot floor, show you as I'm going, and then hopefully we'll soon be in a position to start trial fitting the new boot floor. So here we go, here's some videos as I've been progressing and how I've been getting on. So bit by bit this floor is coming out. Show you what I've got to work with. So again, having the jig makes it a lot easier. This side here was easier because the car was spun the other way, but as you can imagine, to get in to do this bit in here, a bit more tricky. So that's why it's facing this way, because then I can climb in here. So, like I said previously, I've been struggling for time at the moment to get stuff done. Just being a full-time dad, work, etc. So, like a lot of you guys, I've just been coming in here for the odd hour at a time, chipping away. And to be honest, for work like this, it keeps it less tedious if you're doing a bit at a time. So, what I have been doing, as you can see, I've got the rear section cut out. I've got all the big parts cut out so far, here and in the boot. What I've just started doing is just started getting away all these edges, so it's a case of going, as I've done previously, drilling out spot welds, especially on this lip, being careful because this is the back panel of the seat which I'm keeping. So when I drill the spot welds out here, it'll give perfect sized holes for plug welding the next new floor in. So yeah, that one I have to be especially careful with. This one, I'm going to take it as clean as I can off, down to the heel board here. But it doesn't have to be perfect because this floor's getting replaced. But at the same time, I want this boot floor sitting perfectly to what this floor was. So I will be taking it off as gently as I can, but at the end of the day, it's not going to have to be as careful as this. Many moons ago, this rear companion bin was taken out when I took this side of the floor off, so that was all gone anyway. This is already away. It's just a case of methodically going through it bit by bit and doing it. And like I said, I'm not going to show you guys it because it's fairly self-explanatory. This is just to give you an idea of how actual big a job it is. I was aware of how big a job it was when I took it on, and yeah, it's daunting at times, but it'll be worth it once it's done. It'll be so rewarding once it's done. So climb back out of here. What I did find grinding and cutting, you need a decent mask, which is why I got that upgraded one, because it makes a lot of mess. And if you can imagine all this under here, this was just half an hour's work. Breathing that into your lungs isn't good. So yeah, take my advice, spend the money on a mask, eye protection, the lot, because it is messy and it is horrible stuff. You'll smell it on your clothes once you're finished, and it's not nice. So I'm going to disappear from you guys just now, go and do some more, and then I'll come back and show you my progress when I get to a more advanced stage. As I'm going, so sometimes the spot welds aren't as easy to see. Like say on here, you know, I did grind the metal back on the other side, but it just wasn't too obvious. So what I found easier is just feeling. You can feel it going straight. You can't obviously show it on camera, but you can feel it, and then actually it goes on an indent. Where my thumb is there is an indent, and once this under seals off, the spot weld drill actually sits quite well in the indent at finding it. So that's the technique I'm using for this bit here. Remember, this is the bit at the lower or the rear seat arch, which I have to be very careful with. The rest, not so much, but that's where I am. I'll see you in a few hours to me, and a blink of an eye to you when I've got more off. And a few hours later. So this took quite a bit of work because I don't want to ruin this, and as you can see there was a few casualties, which is what happens when you stop paying attention or getting tired. But they're fine, they'll be getting welded and fixed, so there's still obviously quite a bit more around here to do. But what I have done is I've done up here, and again it was just by feeling, drilling the spot welds out. When it was catching at the end, you could see there it catches and it stretches when you pull it off. I just go in there with a hammer and chisel and tap it gently. The only thing you can do with this is take your time. It can be frustrating, but if you get bored, just go and do something else and come back when you're motivated. That's the best advice I could offer. So little bits like this cut. The biggest one that I was annoyed with was this here. I'm keeping this on, but as you can see, I cut here, and I don't know how I managed it. Again, lapse in concentration. But going further up, it's all off this bit. You can see it's starting to rust under here. It is still quite obviously bumpy where it's been spot welded, so to get a good seal when I put the new floor in to measure up, I'm going to get like a clamp and I'm just going to compress it just to get that as flat as I possibly can. It will need fettling when it goes back in, because at the end of the day this has been on the car for 29 years. So yeah, it's not wanting to come off easily. Next bits I'm going to look at, getting into here, obviously being careful because it's the strengthening support bracket onto the rear wheel arch, the rear upright and the floor. And if I can, I want to keep these because they're solid, there's no rot in them at all. But again, it's just being how careful I can be with the angle grinder. So round the other side, this is what I've got to jump and trip over. And in there. So yeah, round the other side, I wasn't fussed about being careful with the spot weld drill. I did start going from this side to start with, but then suddenly, sorry not suddenly, but soon realised going from the other side was a lot easier. And instead of just going through one layer, I went through both, because these, I've not got the long probe arms for my spot welder, so these here, when I put them back on, are going to be plug weld filled. So the holes are in an ideal place, as you can see all the way up. And that's a 10mm hole. I've tried before with an 8mm hole and it just doesn't penetrate very good, it fills up too quick. Still got a little bit of work to do here, but work in progress. The floor, this bit has all been off. This was the join where I done the repair panel ages ago. This is the old one here. You can see it's been cut roughly and it's been ground down. I'm not fussed about how this looks because it's all getting replaced. I am fussed about it all being level because the floor is getting offered up to it. and I will be putting holes in here so I can secure the boot floor on with bolts or screws. I've not decided yet, until obviously the floor's replaced, but I want it all to be secure so I can weld in what I can, because at the end of the day I've got a lot to replace. Looking upside down, the wheel arch here is staying on just now because I'm very conscious that the floor is getting less and less support on it, and I'm taking no more off it, so this will be getting kept on, supported by the wheel arch. But I need to cut away this section here and grind it back so that I can get the floor. That's obviously the part of the floor there which will be replaced. So I am getting there, but it takes hours, this, and it's just meticulous. So I'll disappear again and I'll come back to you when I'm at the next stage. So yeah, I'm going to call it a day there. You've had a look at what I've got. I'm going to use all this. I'm going to keep chipping away, and by the time I come back to you, I'll have the complete boot floor out, and I'll have the new one ready to test fit. That's the plan anyway. What I do need to be careful with, the stage I'm at the moment, is the rear bump stop plates, because these obviously attach to the rear wheel arch in two places, here, here, the back panel here, and then the floor panel here. Ideally I would like to get this floor pan off without damaging this, so I can leave all these pieces intact. It just holds a lot more rigid in, but the access here, I can do it from this side. I've got great access here. Getting into this side with a cutter, etc., is just there's not much room. If you look what I'm looking at here, because of the bracing, because of the angles, it is going to be fiddly. So same on the other side. I need to go away and cut this out. It may get to the point where I need to order these new. They're not dear, they're only about £12–13 for Heritage, but it's just getting them lined up, getting them in, and yeah, if I have to replace them, it's no big deal. Likewise, I need to remove this piece of floor here, but only the piece of floor, because on the other side, oh, you've got the strengthening bracket that's holding these support brackets in place. So what I want to do is remove this, but then I want to have the floor on here once this is removed so that I can bolt it in place. So yeah, I've got a few bits and pieces to get on with, but other than that, it's going quite well as planned, which is not like the Mini at all. So when you join me the next time, like I say, hopefully all this will be away. I'll be a bit further forward. I also need to look at getting, like say, these bits here re-welded, get all this sorted, all this ground off, and some primer. So basically the weld through I've went for is this. I've tried other ones before and they weren't the greatest, to be honest, when using spot welders, but this has been recommended by Paul P. He says they're quite good, so I'll go with that. So guys and girls, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers!